He's a great piece to our puzzle, and he's a very gifted young man. If you look at his measurements from where he was out at the global games, you see a 7-foot, 300-pound guy with 7'5", 7'6" wingspan. You see a guy that is very, very big hands, and a guy that is unique in terms of that size. He is extremely athletic. Can really run, and has continued to improve. Obviously playing for Steve at Oak Hill, one of the elite programs in the country. Steve has done a great job of developing him and continuing to enhance his skill set. And then he was blessed that he got to play with very good perimeter players there as well, and played at a high level. He's played against the best of the best, and that experience will pay off for him as he enters our program and has to endure the night in, night out of Big Ten play and the physical size. So we're obviously very excited. He'll be in June, and let Fletch start working with him a little bit, and we get on the court June 10th with him, and first day of summer school, and it's perfect timing as we have the foreign trip this summer to Italy, so we'll get 10 official practices and 3 or 4 games over there. So it's a nice blend, and it's a guy that is ready physically to play in the Big Ten, and that really excites me.
Brad, how do you see him fitting in the rotation and working with the other bigs that you already have?
Well, I think it's to be determined a little bit, but I think there's no doubt that we were not a great rebounding team this year, which was a point of frustration for me. I think it's something that he adds. There's no doubt about that. I think that we'll be able to do some things differently with Georgie in terms of Georgie's got some other aspects of his game that we can expand on in terms of his ball handling, his passing, where we could play those guys possibly together. I think a guy like that demands so much space obviously becomes an imposing figure on the defensive end. So if you play he and Georgie together, now you've got some legitimate size, and that helps protect the front of the rim.
Have you had somebody this big with this caliber before, and does it change much of your system? Because you talked before about being able to play small and win.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's I haven't had that big. I don't think many people had. I should probably call Dale Brown at LSU and see how that was coaching, Shaq. But I think you make the proper adjustments. The thing that I love about him is he can really run, and he's a guy that's not a cumbersome, heavy-legged guy. He's a really good athlete, and we may tweak a few things, but systematically, I think we pretty much stay with what we're doing. And he's very capable in pick and rolls. He's very capable of beating people down the floor, and that's all things we like to do.
Besides size, what do you think a front court tandem of Georgie and Kofi can bring?
Problems. I hope a lot. I think you're talking about 2 guys that are very skilled, and I've said this all along. I think one of Georgie's best attributes we didn't see this year, and that was his ability to pass. That was one of the things that I was so intrigued with when I saw him was his passing. Georgie played with a hurt thumb a lot this year. It affected his shooting. He's a better shooter than what he has shown. Kofi is an excellent passer as well. So I think you've got some different things that you can do on the offensive end with both of those guys. Plus they both set good screens. We know about our perimeter play, and Kofi on a pick and roll getting to the rim is going to set a great screen, and he's going to demand attention on his rolls. So that makes those little things have a tendency to make everybody better.
Brad, you mentioned that he's a good fit piece of your to your puzzle. How does he fit into this? What do you want to do with the 7 seconds of offense going down and shooting?
Well, that's one of the things we like about him, because he can really, really run. And, you've got to respect him running the court and putting his head at the front of the rim, or you've got to respect him with his ability to set a ball screen and roll. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. I think, we were about 24 points a game and under 7 seconds this year. I expect that number to go up because we'll be a better defensive rebounding team with him as well. And, he's a guy that, routinely makes outlet passes to half court. So that can help everybody involved.
How is he with the intangibles, the work ethic and being a good teammate, all those things that I know coaches value so much?
Well, you don't play for Steve Smith unless you have that. There's a reason that he's maybe one of the all-time winningest boys basketball coaches in history. I mean, and the great players that he's had have all gone on to achieve great things at the next level because of being under his tutelage. And those are all things that Steve demands a lot. They're fundamentally very sound,
Sure.
and I think all those things will help him translate here.
Well, a lot of times when a freshman comes in, we can see right away what Fletcher's going to do. He's going to try to make him bigger and stronger. What's he do with Kofi?
Yeah, I think one of those things that we've talked about is more the conditioning side of things. I think it'll be interesting to see what his body comps come back in terms of his body fat percentage. He's not in any way, shape, or form fat. He's just very, very big, and conditioning will be a big challenge. I don't think he's a guy that we're going to shy away from in the weight room. I think we'll continue to work on maybe leaning him up and then conditioning. But he's got a great frame and a great structure to start from, and that helps.
What's the aspect of his game that might be the most Big Ten ready, and what's an area you might have to work on a little bit this summer?
Well, I think we want to get him ready offensively. I think that there's no question he's got great hands. He's a guy that's a very, very capable scorer. We'll want to clean some of that up in terms of he's got a jump hook. We want to make sure he goes both ways equally well and do that. But physically, he's so unique that it allows him to play right away. I mean, you see 22, 23-year-old grown men who've been in the league 3 or 4 years that have that kind of physicality. That alone is going to allow him to play that way. And then he's, like you said, his athleticism will help in that as well.
You mentioned Shaq. Is there anybody else that comes to your mind in terms of who this guy reminds you of, looks like? Is there anybody? I don't think I've ever seen a guy in the Big Ten like that's this size.
I haven't either. I'll be
Right.
honest. There's a guy that is. I've said it since the first time I saw him. He's unique, just because of that size. He's still relatively green in terms of experience playing the game, but to have that combination of size and athleticism and speed is very, very rare, and it's something that I haven't seen a lot of. We saw a big kid at Texas, Dexter Pittman,
Right.
when I was an assistant, but Dexter was heavier. This kid's a sleek body, and he'll fill out a uniform and look good in it.
Could he be a guy that the rest of the Big Ten's going to go, oh God, is that kind of what you want?
Well, I don't think we should lose sight that he is a freshman.
Right.
And there's going to be
Okay.
some learning curve, as there always is, no matter how he looks. He's still a freshman. I hope that becomes the case. I think natural progression. I think this summer is extremely important, and that's why I'm excited about our foreign trip, is that you see those changes and growth, and maybe he can expedite the learning curve a little bit because of that trip. But yeah, I mean, it's not every day you get a freshman that's physically that ready to be able to play at a major college basketball game.